Hey guys, it's John and Shannon from That DIY Couple. Today we're going to be talking about our huge pie in the sky, big dream goals. We've done videos on our channel talking about our goals for specific years. In fact, we just did a video talking about our goals for 2021, but those are all goals that are specific to this one year. We also have really big dream goals that we've never shared on this channel, and I think the way to manifest them, a way to manifest them, is to talk about them publicly. So today we're talking about our biggest goals for our entire lives, and the number one goal that I have for my life is to go into space. I would love that. Ever since I was a little child, I always dreamed of being an astronaut, and this was a dream that extended way beyond just the sort of like fireman, astronaut, garbage man, whatever type dream that little kids have. I really wanted to be an astronaut all the way up until high school. It was really not until the second half of high school that I decided that I didn't want to pursue that, and I don't want to get into that.
It was decided for you.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that right now in this video, but ever since then I've been fascinated by space travel, science fiction, everything like that, and I would love to go to space at some point in my life. I don't know how. I think it's going to cost a lot of money in some way, but I'm going to figure it out. That's one of my biggest goals.
One of my big life goals is a simple one, and it's one that I think a lot of people have. It's nothing fancy, but I just really want to be a good parent. Love Ellie so much. I love being a mom, and I want to maximize the time that I can spend with her. I want to maximize the quality of the time that I can spend with her. I don't want to be distracted or on my phone. I want to give her the best of myself. It's like the honor of my life to be Ellie's mom, and hopefully in the future the mom to more kids.
A big goal that I have in my life is to become an elected official. I think that'd be really cool. I've always been interested in politics and in helping people. I think I have the right temperament and disposition for that, and I feel a really big sense of duty because I think that my family and my parents gave me so much, and I would be remiss if I didn't give that back in some way through some type of public service.
Similarly, thematically to John's goal is that I really want to be able to do good in the world in some way, and to help people in my community as much as possible. I spent some time working at the United Nations, and I was actually surprised at how disillusioned I became with the idea of working for a large international organization. It wasn't what I expected, but I used to want to save the world in a big and sort of abstract way. And now I really just want to focus on being a good person in my community and in the ambit that I can control. And so a good example that was born of that desire is that we've been mentoring a little boy from the projects who lives nearby. And this is a person that I can commit to seeing every week, to mentoring, to being a consistent force in his life. And, we're saving money to be able to help him with his education. We have a long-term, lovingly curated plan for this child, and I want to be able to do that in a very tangible way to help one person, and then I'd like to do that for other people, and that's a huge goal of my life.
Really tangible goal for me is that I want to have 5 kids. So I am really excited about being a dad. I've loved being a dad so far. I love being a dad with Shannon because I think she's the best mom ever, and so it's been really easier for me to be a great dad. We both want to have more kids, and I think it's fair to have a tangible number, so we want to have 5 kids.
We've actually waited a long time to have kids, though, mostly because you, at the beginning, were not as excited about having a huge number of kids and having them as early as I wanted to.
But now that we're started.
John is ready to go. And it's funny because now that we have Ellie, I'm very focused on her, and I'm almost it's taking so much of me to give her my all. How am I gonna do it? With my job and everything else, how am I gonna have more? And so I'm actually the one who's let's slow our roll, let's wait a while. I wanna lose some weight, I wanna focus on work, I wanna, regain my balance. And John is that was easy, let's do it again. But we're talking through the timing. We can do another video on this, but when I was 30, I'm 35 now, and when I was 30, we actually froze embryos electively in order to preserve our fertility. So we did 3 rounds of IVF and we froze a number of embryos. We haven't had them tested to see if they're viable or not, but by the time that they make it to the embryo stage, there's a very good chance that they are. We feel like we have a little bit of an insurance policy that we could use those embryos to get pregnant later naturally if we need to. A large goal in my life is to accumulate a lot of money to buy myself freedom to spend my time doing the things that I love. I love helping other people. I love being a parent. I would like to be able to spend more time doing both of those things. I'd like to be in a position, I'm in a very highly compensated, very stressful, very time-intensive profession, and I'd like to be in a position where I don't have to work at that profession in order to live. And the position I hope to be in is where I choose to work at this profession in order to live because I love it so much. And I feel like I'm there now, but I couldn't like quit my job tomorrow and be okay. I would have to work at something else.
The goal that I have is to own a house in a foreign country. I think this would be really cool. Shannon actually does not really share this, or at least has a different interpretation of the goal, where I think she wants to just be a vacationer in a different country. Cool, I like real estate, I like owning real estate, I like renovating real estate, so having a house in a different country would just be cool.
So a goal that I've really recently come to is that I really want to savor life. I want to just suck every inch of enjoyment out of life. I sometimes deprive myself in a lot of ways, and I want to take great pleasure in the small things like food and sex and travel and self-care. I want to spoil myself because I am worth it. I want to believe that I'm worth it. And I want to spoil you, and I want to spoil our dogs and Ellie and be loving and abundant. I think sometimes in like our path towards frugality, I've lost sight of how we have to invest in ourselves. And so I want to...
So a little bit related to my previous goal about owning a house in a different country, I want to build my own custom home. So I have done a ton of renovations, different types of construction. I've done lots of projects for other people, but for our own homes, although we've done things like renovate a kitchen, a basement, a garage, we haven't done any like ground up construction, and I think it would be so amazing to have a custom built new home ground up that I'm involved in the building of, and I think I have a good skill set to do that at this point. I would love to accomplish that at some point. I think this is a dream that will not happen for a while because we love our current home, but maybe in 5, 10 plus years it makes sense to do it, and I think that'd be so fun.
So I share John's dream. In fact, just a few days ago, I told you, we were talking about possibly doing an extension, and I said to you...
An extension to our current home.
An extension to our current home. And I said to you, I don't think I want to do an extension. I think that in several years, I want to try to build a new home that we can control what goes into it and do like environmentally friendly and do things that are low toxins, low VCSEs, low phthalates, and try to have like an open, natural, beautiful space with air and lovely like natural materials that we can have a lot of control over our environment, because it makes such a difference to how you feel.
Kind of crazy goal that I have is that I want to become moderately famous. I think it'd be really cool to expand the presence that we have in social media to be something where we can influence people in a positive way. I think it'd be awesome that I love helping people, and I love sharing the knowledge that I've gained and the perspectives I have on stuff. And if I can do that from a position where I'm more well known and able to convey that, I think that'd be awesome. So I don't know exactly what that means or how that transpires, but I love to help people, and I think that one way of doing that is to become more notable and kind of known for the ways that I and we help people, and I would love for that to happen.
I am interested in fame in the same way that I'm interested in money, in that my core self, my like highest and best self, wants to do good in the world. I am also interested in pursuing both fame and wealth, which are two, it's very like awkward to even say that's an explicit goal, because we're taught that you shouldn't, that, you know, Judeo-Christian society is like, you shouldn't be boastful, you shouldn't be greedy. But if you look at the people who you admire and who are doing good, they are both, you know of them because they're famous and they're able to do what they're doing because they're typically wealthy, to influence policy and to make things happen and be a mover and shaker. Money and fame do not hurt. They can only help. So one really specific goal that I have that I alluded to earlier is that I really want to help the little boy that we mentor through the Big Brothers Big Sisters program rise up out of the projects and have a wonderful life. I love this kid. I want only the best things for him. And so I want to be there for him. He's starting to go through puberty. It's going to be a tough time. He doesn't have an actively involved dad. His family faces a lot of challenges, and I want to figure out how we can best help him.
Another very specific goal that I have is to become a Yale trustee. Yale University is the school that we went to for university, for college. It's where we met. The way that Yale and many schools operate is that there's a board of trustees that kind of oversee the operation of the school. Normally, they're composed of people that are involved in the school in some way, like the president of Yale, I believe, is always on the board, and some other people. But there are quite a lot of people that are alumni or other ways affiliated with Yale that are on the board, and I really credit a lot to that school for my wife, for a lot of things that happened in my life, and I think being a trustee and being involved in policy making there would be really great. It's very hard to achieve that goal. The people that are on the board right now are super accomplished and intelligent and smart, and so to be even in that conversation would be great, but obviously step 0 of that is saying that you want it, so I would love to do that at some point.
And I want to be a trustee of Phillips Exeter Academy, which is a boarding school in New Hampshire that I studied at, and it's one of the most prestigious secondary schools in the world. I had the amazing fortune of studying there on a scholarship when I was in high school, and going to that school totally changed the trajectory of my life. The other option for me was to go to public school in Arizona, where the public school system in my district at the time was particularly weak. There, I was encouraged to believe in myself. I was encouraged to chase my dream. I'm gonna get emotional. But I had amazing guidance. I would like to make sure that Exeter is a more inclusive and safe and loving place, because one of the things that's happened recently is that there's been sex scandals. There's been a Black at Exeter Instagram account which has shown that the experience of being a person of color at Exeter can be horrible. There's issues with privilege and like racism and sexism and sexual abuse. There's all these issues that the school faces, and I think that a lot of institutions face, that I think that I could be a good voice in the room to advocate for a better tomorrow, and I want to make sure that everyone has the wonderful experience that I did.
The last big goal for my life that I have right now is to be a good musician. So I've always loved playing music. Music has always been a big part of my life, and I've never really focused on it as like a performative thing. I've loved listening to music, but I would love for me to become a better musician. I'd love to share that with Shannon and then with our family. I'm trying to do that right now by learning how to play more instruments, learning the piano better now. I've kind of forgotten how to play in the 20 years since I last played. So I'm really excited about that goal, and I think that'll be a great contribution to hopefully our family.
So in a related vein, a goal of mine is that I want to create more art. As a child, I really loved writing poetry. I haven't done that in a long time. I also love drawing. I love writing in general. And I want to create more things of beauty in my life. This Stay Wild poster over here is something that I made, and I really like it. I think it looks pretty cool. Stay wild. I want to express my artistic side. Another goal that I have is that I want to be a more effective leader. I've actually been appointed to a couple of leadership positions in the last few years, and I don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job of taking the platform that I have this big goal of making change in my life and making change in my community, and then I feel like I got a platform to do it in a small way, and I'm not doing enough. And so I want to figure out how to prioritize my life so that I can do a better job at effectively leading some of the organizations that I have been entrusted to guide.
Why did you say that?
Yeah. Another big goal is that I really want to have a big, beautiful organic garden and have more animals. I love animals and I love eating healthy, pesticide-free, organic food. I like the process of planting and tending, and so I really want to solicit the help that I need to tend the type of garden that I have and maybe get somebody to help me with it because I just don't have time to do it with my current job, but I want to have it.
Those are our huge lifetime goals. It's kind of embarrassing to talk about some of these goals, at least I find that, because a lot of the times these goals are really personal, and some of the goals that I talked about in this video I haven't shared with anyone in my life except for I think maybe Shannon. So even talking about them is a little bit scary. The first step in accomplishing any goal is to tell people that you're going to do it. It's something that I discovered in 2020 about the importance of showing your work and telling people what you're up to. So I'm hoping that this is the first step in manifesting some of our goals. I'd love to hear about your big lifetime goals. If you don't have big lifetime goals, make some and tell people about it, because I think that only good things can come of it. I don't see any downsides or negatives, and I'm excited to see the feedback. I'm just excited to put this out there, even if only 10 people watch it. It's going to be big for me.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, do well and always make things better.